Naife Edebi. The time is 27 minutes before 10 o'clock, and this is Business Around Town. You're welcome to the program. And today, being a Monday, we're going to look at some of the top stories in the world of business. I mean, stories that are trending now when you talk about doing business in Nigeria. So, we will begin with this story. I'm supposed to have my guest in the studio. He's on his way here. Remember, I told you at 7 o'clock, yeah, when I did my first program, front page review, that we're going to be looking at the CBN latest policy. And I'm going to have my analyst in the studio to analyze and break down what this news really means. So, but he will be here as we progress. He will join us, and then we'll get to talk some more. The phone lines will be open later on the program, as always, so you could call in and join the conversation. Now, the first news item is this. I think it's been trending since yesterday. Yesterday is Sunday. It says that the new KYC, in new KYC, CBN directs bank to obtain customers' digital IDs and social media handle. Now, what does this mean? I'm going to explain everything as much as I can as we wait for the analyst to come in and put some perspective, some depth into the story. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has made the digital ID and social media handles of bank customers a mandatory requirement for the Know Your Customer. So the KYC I'm talking about is Know Your Customer policy in the financial industry going forward. Now, moving forward, this is a new policy, Know Your Customers policy. So one of the ways they want to know the customer, they want to know us, is for us to give them our social media handle. So what I say social media handle, what do I mean? Twitter handle, Instagram handle, Facebook, all of those things. That's TikTok. Yeah, so you have to give the bank so that they will know you very well, know your customers. That's KYC. Now, a digital ID is electronic representation of personally identifying information that may be used to verify the identity of a person. So the bank wants to verify your identity. They need your social media handle. Now, the question is, what is the role of NRN if you want to use my social media ID to be able to identify me and know me better? What is the role of the BVN? So that's the question that the CBN is being asked. But let's move on. Now, the move the Apex Bank said is aimed, because you want to know this, why this new policy said is aimed at strengthening the fight against financial crimes. So the reason this is needed is to fight crime, financial crime. So they need our Twitter handle, Instagram handle, Facebook handle, TikTok, all those are social media handles to fight crime. Now, this statement was contained in the CBN Customer Due Diligence Regulation 2023 report, which was posted on its website and addressed to all banks and other financial institutions. So this is going to be done by the banks and financial institutions. Regulation signed by the CBN Director, Financial Policy and Regulation Department, because in the morning when we were talking about this, people were saying, who is the CBN governor? The CBN governor is the one that who signed this. Now, it said here that it's being signed by the CBN Director, Financial Policy and Regulations Department, Chibuzo Efobi. Efobi, yes. He's the one that signed. He's the Director of Financial Policy and Regulation Department. He said it was aimed to bolstering the compliance with anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing, CFT, provision, while aligning with the international best practices. So that's one of the reasons why it was signed. They said anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing, CFT, provisions while aligning with international best practices. So international best practices. So is this thing done abroad? The people in UK, America, Europe, do they give their social media handle? I think the question was answered when someone called me from Europe this morning and told me that, Mary, I've never heard of such. abroad, nobody asked me for my social media handle to know me very well as a customer of the bank. So now moving on under the social media handle, section 6 of the new regulation, financial institutions operating under the regulatory purview of the CBN are now obligated to collect and verify customers' social media handles as part of their KYC process, which I told you earlier that KYC is know your customer. So we're going to talk more about this international best practice, really. Okay, we'll see. I have with me, my guest is already in the studio. Thank God for that, for safe journey. He's a Shegun Shokbita. He's a principal partner, Wood Ridge and Scott Consulting. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mary. Good morning, Nigerians.
Yeah. Thank
you.
you.
Apologies.
No, apology.
For my coming late.
Accepted.
I got stuck in an unpleasant situation, but it's okay.
Thank God.
Sorted it out.
Oh, thank God you're here. I hope it does not involve money. We didn't have to part with some money.
You never can tell. This is Nigeria.
Yeah, I hope not. Yeah. Now, this interesting story. I was just trying to give some context, read the details of the story.
I was listening to you.
I think it was yesterday. Say another one. So CBN wants our social media handle to be able to fight crime, financial crime. You need our social media handle to know us better. Has it got into that? So there's been a lot of, will I say, conspiracy theory. People have been coming up with different theory about this. Some people said, oh, it's the obedience. They want to now trace them and know them and shut them up. Those people that are vibrant on social media. Others are saying, no, maybe they want to know us better. So we would like to know the reason behind this policy.
Well, it's a bit unusual. But then if you put it in perspective, you find that, to be honest and to be fair, people are already giving their social media handles anyway to operators in that sector. So if you've ever done any kind of business with any of these consumer credit companies, loan apps,
yes,
there's nothing they don't take from you. They'll take your Twitter, Facebook, they take your SMS. They take everything and anything that they can get
those
from
ones
you.
that will call you and say, call your people when you owe them money.
And then when you default, they will harass the living daylight out of you and embarrass your entire generation to get their money back. The difference this time is that it is the central bank that is asking. So, yeah, I agree with those that say the NIN and the BVN should be enough. But I also think that there is additional information that you can get about a person based on their digital footprint. So if you go on Twitter, for example, this saying has become pretty famous. The internet never forgets, right? So if you go on Twitter, you go on Facebook, you go on Instagram, and any of the other social media handles, and you do a search for 10 years, say somebody has been on Twitter since 2009 or 2011, the amount of information you can mine about the mind of that person, about who they are, is invaluable, right? So, from the perspective of a safe credit management ecosystem, this can be good.
Okay.
So the consumer credit companies already, they're ahead of the loop on this. They've already started using information like this to weigh credit worthiness of people. They look at your activity online. They look at your SMS messages. They can use that to determine whether you're a habitual borrower.
No, hold on. They check your messages.
Oh, yes.
They will go to
they
privacy.
crawl, yes.
No, not that. They will check the messages
you
receive.
They crawl. So once you give, because you will give them the rights
to be able to check all your, so they could go through your messages.
Absolutely. You give them the rights. So what happens is, a lot of times when people are borrowing, and anybody that is in the lending business will know that at the point where you're asking, somebody is asking you for money, anything you ask of them that is in their power, they will give you. So these loan apps know this, so they ask for permission. You will sign it off. You just tick it. People don't even read those things.
I don't think many people know this
Yeah,
info.
they
But
don't
really
read them.
don't read
They
it.
give you the right. So they have what they call web crawlers. Those crawlers will simply browse through your information, your messages, whether it's SMS, whether it's social media, whether it's Facebook. They crawl through and they read the application, not a human being. The application reads and they're looking for keywords. They have keywords that they've coded into the algorithm and they're looking for those keywords to determine your behavior as a person. And that becomes a critical part of the credit decision making process. So in credit, there's the 5 C's. The most critical part of the measures of somebody's capacity is the character. So where else can I determine somebody's character but where the person, except where the person is talking freely without any guards and without any filters, where they say their mind because they don't think and they don't realize that what they're saying can become a measure of who they are later, 10 years later. So I think this is the direction the CBN is thinking in. I don't think they can mandate it. It's impossible to make this mandatory, so they would have to review that. But I think it's a good idea to make it a part of the things that banks actually ask for. I think that the public might very well discover that this is actually a step in the right direction, because one of the quarrels that I've had with the banking industry over the years is the lack of rigor in the way they process credit decisions. They have a model. It is very strict. It is very stringent and tailored, and they just stick within it. There is no creativity in how they go about measuring whether a person will pay back or not. Obviously, because of the fears of default, But I think that this could be a step in the right direction. I think banks should, as a matter of course, ask for that information. What I think will be impossible is to now deny somebody access to financial services because you don't have social media, because there are people, have friends, educated, well exposed, big boys in society who are not on social media by choice. I have a friend who has never opened a Facebook account. He's my age mate. He doesn't have Facebook, he doesn't have Twitter, nothing. He's not on Instagram. And it's by choice. There are some that have been there and they close their account because they just don't want to. So how do you bank people like that? How do you bank the ones that are in the villages who don't even know that something like Twitter exists, and you are talking about financial inclusion? So you can't make it compulsory. But I think that compelling banks to at least ask for it, for example, to put it as a part of the things that you need to fill out in your form, I think it's a good thing. I think it will deepen the credit risk management structure of the financial industry, and that can only be good for the economy.
No, if you were trying to, if you want to borrow money, that can be understandable. You want to borrow money.
Absolutely.
But for someone that is banking, I'm storing my money in your bank.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my money in your bank. So why would you want to know, get my private activities online?
I get your
There should
point.
be a distinction.
Well, banking service is personal. It's private. There are things that you can't lie to your doctor. You can never lie to your accountant. Anybody that can see your financial transactions will know who you are. And sometimes, even if you are not a borrowing client, you are running transactions through the banking system that can tell society about you. So if you get into trouble, for example, if there's an investigation about terrorism, for example, about a client, the financial, if EFCC, maybe the DSS or whatever, might have a need to tie their financial activities, find correlations between their financial activities and what's going on their social media. So maybe banks can help in that process as well by providing some information in that regard, correlation, so that if my investigation as a law enforcement agency can be assisted. So I don't see the sinister. You see, some of those sinister things that people say, I think they're a bit far-fetched sometimes. There should be privacy concerns. I don't have any doubt about that. But I think that if you want to, I don't think there's anything like a completely free society where there's absolutely no regulation. So I think that when the banks are doing this, the privacy issues around NDPR, for example, data protection and all of that must be put into consideration in how they go about implementing this. But I'm not sure that this is necessarily a bad thing. I don't think so. Is it a priority? Maybe not. In this modern society with the current things that Nigeria is facing, with the policies that the government is rolling out, talking about social media as a requirement for KYC it's neither here nor there. It shouldn't be a priority of the CBN. The CBN right now should concern itself with how its unification policy, the currency exchange rate unification policy, will benefit the exchange rate with the value of the Nigerian currency. That is a huge question that is still sitting there fat and waiting to be answered. And the CBN is not answering this. So for me, this KYC thing
might be a distraction.
It can be happening, but it shouldn't be in the news. I mean, this is not our concern. It's not a major issue for the society at the moment. It's not a bad thing, but I think it's a complete loss of concentration. Right now, I expect that the CBN is rolling out guideline after guideline on how to liberalize the forex market and how to liberalize the stringent exchange controls we have in that system to attract supply into the market. That should be the focus of the CBN, not KYC with social media. Come on. So that's my challenge with this. In terms of the policy itself, it's not bad, but it shouldn't be an area of focus at all.
We'll open the phone lines so that we could hear from you, and then we'll move on to the other story. So let's open the phone lines and talk about this some more before we move to the other story. The number to call is 0700 903 9039. 0700 903 9039. Let's get to hear from you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Ikechu, calling from Agawo.
Okay, Ikechu, go ahead, sir.
This your guest is very, very amazing. I love what he's analyzing there. I don't know why our country is behaving like this. Why has it become BVN or has it become NIN? I don't understand. I'm even confused. Why? They want you to link Facebook with your account. It's not. I don't know. People use this thing to do people. I thought why they bring this the BVN thing is about how people are scamming people with BVN so that bank people in India will know things about you, know your ground on internet or all those things. But I don't know the Facebook code to link the with your bank. It's so unfortunate. I don't think this thing will make sense.
Thank you. I appreciate you for your contribution. 0700 903 903 903 is the number. 0700 903 903 903 to join the conversation. Now, it's not just for individuals. They said that the entities, like if you have a business, you have to also submit your social media handles. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Welcome. What's your name and location?
My name is Ijeoma from Ejigbo.
Okay, go ahead.
Are you the same lady on the morning program?
Of course, now.
Okay. Then God bless you, my dear. Thank God you bring an expert for this issue, because I'll be wondering before these people will start asking us for blood test before you can get access to open your account. You do know one thing. We are fond of doing this kind of thing, and we are doing it, we are failing as a nation. We take people who do not know anything about an institution and put them there. And they start to make things up. And they enter the office. You go there, not only change money for us, we don't see the new money in the system. And we have other challenges, a lot of challenges in the financial sector. That you feel that is supposed to be a best priority to settle those things so that it makes business platform for Nigeria business to flow. You leave that one. Now you are asking people to bring the internet account and the Facebook account. What can that solve for us? How can that solve problem? People where they populate, where no get access to this kind of alert phone, what will we do with them? Or these common particular as where they around. And if you want, and then the major stakeholders of this economy. And you people are not programmed anything for them. And you just do. We are tired of this military leadership, please.
Thank you.
We are tired of it. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. 0700 903 903 903 is the number, so you could call in and talk to us. You can also send a WhatsApp message 0700 903 903 903. We have Destiny says, good morning, Mary. This kind of policy we get when we have an engineer as an acting governor. Turn down the volume on your radio set. Turn down the volume on your radio set.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. What's your name and location?
My name is Lekon. I'm speaking from the state.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Lekon.
Yes, as far as I'm concerned, whatever this decision is a piece of nonsense for blind nativism. Now, this country does not need all this formulative nonsensicalism. The issue is this. We need to concentrate on the economy. Let us see how we can vibrate the economy, not by people giving data and etc., which will even be an instrument for this 419 to get rid of your account. Right? We knew people that stole Nigerian money. Let us move our economy forward. Let Nigerians be relaxing in making sure that they have good banks, have good institutions they can trust on, so they can generate revenue that will move our lives up. A lot of our children today, whom they say they want to, correct by doing 419, they are opening them up to these frivolities. Because when somebody has a degree or master's, he doesn't have a job, the parents struggle to, definitely he will look for something else. And this is what is giving problems to this 419. They say they are when did the central bank become EFCC? They have their own road. Why is other countries in the whole world moving forward and Nigeria moving backward? What I expected the central bank to do is to say, people that have stolen this money, some records, let us collect this money from them. Today we are having more than 50 trillion naira as debt. Which nation will have this kind of money in that will survive? And this kind of debt. This is what we have to concentrate on. It's not to be living substance and be chasing shadows. We are opening up ourselves. We are opening up our lives to more frivolities. And somebody was saying government, the government in power. Is it government in power that is giving all these policies? It's not. Some people will just sit down, some cohort will just sit down somewhere and be formulating rubbish. Right? And because some of us who are in government don't have in-depth knowledge, we buy the rubbish they give us. But this rubbish they give us or they gave us is paving room for stealing. It's paving room for them to have their ways.
Thank you.
What we need to do, what central bank need to do for us is to help us to expose people who have stashed our money in overseas. Let us collect this money. Let us pay the so-called debt. After all, 16 years ago, when Obasanjo was going, Obasanjo was not owing one kobo in foreign account and in foreign debt. He paid everything Nigeria was owing since 1970. Even local debt from 1.5 trillion, he paid 1 trillion. So what Nigeria was owing was only 500 billion. And for 7 years after he left, we were selling fuel $120 per barrel. And see where we found ourselves now. Instead of chasing the real cause, finding out what is our problem, punishing, nailing all these idiots that are stealing our money. They were going about doing nonsense. For us, youth of this country are tired. My friend, let me talk. Youth of this country are tired.
We need to go for a commercial break. We appreciate you, sir. We need to go for commercial break.
Okay, dear. Youth of this country are tired. And Nigeria is like a door. If it doesn't open out, it will open in.
Thank you so much. We need to go for commercial break. When we come back, conversation continues.
Are you looking for the perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, number 42, Murita Murtala Muhammad International Airport Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in a beautifully appointed rooms featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your everyday need is met. We also offer complimentary pick-up and drop-off from the Lagos Airport.
Take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant.
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So, why wait? Book your stay today and experience ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets comfort.
We have been serving you hot and fresh content on radio, and you have been loving it. Now we're taking it further. Catch us live on YouTube at BOP TV for all the juicy content you can't resist. Talk shows, exclusive interviews, news, lifestyle, and more. It's all about you. BOP TV, show up, speak up.
The award-winning pizza in the US is now here in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Romeo, the pizza champions, and Coldberry ice cream, delights in every scoop. Visit any of our outlets and feel the rich taste from the pizza champions and Coldberry ice cream at 11 Road by First Avenue, Festac Town, 28 at Denira Ogusanya Street, Surulere, 13 Admiralty Way, Lekki Phase 1. Romeo's Pizza and Coldberry ice cream. Romeo, the pizza champions. Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender guitars, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less.
You're listening to the Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. The program is Business Around Town, and we are looking at this interesting business story, talking about the CBN as it directs banks to obtain customers' digital IDs, social media handles, to know the customer better, know your customers, KYC. And this has brought about a lot of reactions. And we have an analyst here that he thinks it's not that bad, that it's not a problem. Hello, we have a caller here. Hello, good morning.
Yes, my name is the Prof, calling from Isono.
The Prof, welcome, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to start talking to your analyst. I want to start asking him fundamental questions. Is this the major problem or economic problem facing Nigeria? Why will somebody contract you or pay you or advise you or summon you to come and defend this? It's not going to work. I read economics. I lived in Sweden for 10 good years. I've traveled around the world. Never one day have I heard such a silly policy from CBN, the Access Bank of Nigeria. This is highest level of stupidity in the highest places. Okay, know how diverse we are. Most of our northern brothers don't even understand what is social media. They don't do it. In fact, we are trying to encourage them to do the banking culture. Now you are bringing this to discourage them. How many of them have social media? Or are you making this policy for the southern Nigeria? What about the people who live in the hinterland? Thank God, and God bless you that you said that it's not going to be compulsory. But however, you are not the one that made the policy. Who knows? And I want to put it to you guys that is another tool. There is a hidden agenda to this particular policy. I personally will never provide my social media information to any of the authorities. I will sue them. And I'm using this opportunity to tell all the youth that we should jettison this kind of demonic policy. It is unheard of.
Thank you,
I so opined.
Yeah.
Let me.
Yeah, thank you, Elder
I think
Prof.
I need to respond.
Yes. You
Let
need
me
to
respond.
respond. to
Elder
what
Prof,
is-
look, it's simple. Facts are facts. Data is data. Practice is practice. I'm not defending anything. I've already said that this is not shouldn't be a focus, But is it bad? I don't think so. Look, we have to understand that where we are in our development cycle is different from where some countries abroad are. The challenges that we face are different. And perhaps it would also interest people to know that Nigeria's financial system, the financial ecosystem in Nigeria, is one of the most developed in the world, far ahead of the system in the United States, far ahead of the system in Europe. The kind of transactions that we can do on our phones, they can't do it out there. It just doesn't, it's alien to them. Because the traditional channels that they use work, the need for innovation to the level where we have innovated in Nigeria and in some parts of Africa like Kenya doesn't exist abroad. So we can't equate it measure for measure. The fact that do you know that you can transact business on social media today in Nigeria directly? You make payments on Facebook, make payments on WhatsApp in Nigeria today. Some of these things don't exist in other parts of the world. Some, I'm not saying all, right? So it's not a focus that we should have now. And that is the only challenge I have with the CBN. We have far more pressing, deeper, more serious issues that the CBN needs to be making pronouncements about week in, week out. However, that this is an evil policy or that there's some sort of an agenda, I beg to differ. It's my opinion. I think that this will deepen the credit system. The only benefit I see to this is that credit risk management can be significantly improved as a result. And look, credit is one of the biggest problems that we have in this country. One of the reasons that development is slow is that the people that need money to do business can't access it because default is high. Our credit bureaus are not really well equipped to provide the information that banks need. So whatever measure we can take to help that system become better is good. It's for the benefit of the borrowing public that the banks can borrow, can lend money safely, can lend money with some measure of assurance of ability to measure the character of the borrower. I've said it before, one of the most important C's in the 5 C's of credit is character, right? So it's not, I don't see any evil in this. I know that there's a standard, mistrust. There's a trust deficit in Nigeria with government. I understand that, but I think we need to temper it with some, analytical reasoning.
Yeah. Hello. Yes, you're on. Good morning to you.
Good morning. My name is Henry. I'm calling from the Netherlands.
Okay, you're calling from where?
The
Netherlands.
Okay, Netherlands. Okay, go ahead. Let's hear your take.
So concerning this new is it KIC, know your customer, right? KYC.
Yes, 100%. You're right.
Yeah. The problem I have with this, like your analyst mentioned, it's not a bad idea. Yeah. However, just like during the election period, you heard one of the candidates coming out to say that 90% of the youth in the north don't have social media or don't know how to use the internet. Now the question is, what are their plans to make sure that these people are internet savvy and that they are able to access social media, because that's first one of the areas that needs to be addressed before we start talking about, oh, you need to handle your social media if you're creating a bank account, or you need to update the CBN. You get what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you need to be. I think that we should be able to first educate people on how these things work before we start bringing out laws that don't favor anybody. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
I mean, the biggest mistake the CBN has made is to say that this is mandatory. That is a huge error. You can't mandate it. It's impossible. Why make a law that is unenforceable? So it's a good direction to push the banks towards. Push them in that direction. Ask for social media from people, because it will help the credit ecosystem. But to say it's mandatory, are you joking? You cannot insist on social media accounts as a part of KYC and be talking of financial inclusion. We're still on around 60% financial inclusion. We're supposed to be hovering around 80 to 90% as it is in other parts of the world. So those 30% that are missing, how do you get them on board when they don't have social media? So the CBN needs to, like we said, and I think everybody's agreed on this, they should leave this matter alone for now and face the real challenges that we have in this economy today.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. Welcome. What's your name and location?
Yes, Samiri.
Okay.
Good morning. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, greeting to the analyst. With you in the studio. My name is Frank Imobe. I'm speaking from Alimosho.
Okay. Oh, great. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, my take, based on what you brought for discussion this morning concerning the KYC of CBN. You see, there are policies that you want to project to the economy or to the society that are good. But with the state of the nation now, if you look at things, it's just that most of them, they bring in policies that won't work immediately as we are, which will invite more tension. The banking system so far for now does not warrant those kind of issues. How many Nigerians are on social media? Okay, the same past government that went wanted to block Twitter at that time. And this is part of social media. I don't know where they bring in these policies or who is advising them in Nigeria. The state of the nation now does not warrant all this. What is the use of NIA? What is the use of NIA, which is already, if you are a citizen in Nigeria, what is the use of BVN? These two basic things can serve a purpose. But if you are thinking otherwise, maybe some people are doing cyber fraud and everything, strategize. But the position Nigeria is now, it is too early to bring in this kind of policy. It's going to create problems. Okay, there are some people in Nigeria here, they don't even have anything to do with Facebook. They have nothing to do with Instagram. They have nothing to do with it at all. How do they sustain, but they have bank accounts? How do you track them? How do you process it? Appropriate. It's not the period Nigeria is now. It's inappropriate. If they are trying to project people corruption, it is not now. It could be a good policy, but they should think twice so that it can be convenient for people.
The timing, it's not. You don't agree with the timing.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. What I'm saying is that CBN should reconsider this policy.
They should just remove the compulsory part of it. That's all. Just make it, an encouragement. Encourage the banks. That's all. You can't make it compulsory.
If you don't make it compulsory, many people would not.
There are ways of persuading systems to go in a particular direction. You program behavior, so you can't make it. You can't be mandated. It will fail.
Let's look at another story, still on the Naira. It says the Naira devaluation pushes up vehicle duties by 40%. Now, I talked about this a bit in the morning, that with the Naira devaluation, it has push up the vehicle duties by 40%. So if you want to bring cars in, it's going to cost more. It says here that customs raise exchange rate from $422 to $1 to $589 to $1. Operators kicks as import duties jump. Now, economists berate the federal government, says policy will cause job loss in impoverished Nigerians and worsen hardship. Now, they just increased the exchange rate a bit to 589, not even the 750 or 720. And this has brought about 40% rise, 40% increment. So if you want to import duties, you want to import a car, into the country, the duties have not increased to 40%, which is quite huge. So if you want to bring in a car, I know about a Toyota Small Light. It used to be, I think, 800, 900. I think it's about 1 point something now with this increment. You want to bring in different cars. So imagine where we are with this Naira floating that we are in right now. That they said Naira floating it's not being regulated. It's not a free float anymore.
Well, this is just one of the implications of the floating of the exchange rate, the managed float system. In fact, the only reason that it's a 40% increase is what I suspect that the Customs Service has done is that they've used an average for a particular period. That's why they're not using the spot rate or the futures rate. They're using an average, weighted average, maybe over the last month or so. And you remember this policy has just been implemented.
Yes.
So the average will be lower than the spot rate. And I suspect that there's still going to be a further increment because they can't maintain it at 589. I mean, on what basis? The exchange rate is not 589 today. So if they do that average 3 months from now, the average is going to be about 750. And that's where we're going. So look, it's one of the reasons why some of us feel that these policies, the aggressive nature of the policy pronouncements of this administration is perhaps a bit overstated, and there needs to be a bit more caution and discretion in the push for this liberalization. It's clear that the general approach and mindset of the president and of this administration will be free market, will be tending towards free market and less of the social part.
Yeah.
But there has to be caution because social impact has a huge bearing on economic development. You cannot develop an economy for people that are dead. So you have to put into serious context the impact of your economic policy on the lives of the human beings that you are, governing. And that's where I think I'm seeing a huge disconnect in the policy pronouncement. So imagine what will happen to cars, just because of this devaluation. Because that's what it is. It's a devaluation, whatever name we want to call it.
You're talking about cars. Not everybody has cars in Nigeria, but I think we all use power supply. Mm-hmm. So the news, it's been said in the news now. We think you've heard about it. We've all heard about it. From July 1st, they're going to be increased
another 40%.
Yes, of the tariff. Now, we know that the Labour Congress, they fought. They say, Joe Ajaero said, no, this can't happen. It shouldn't happen at all. But they've said they're going ahead. Come July 1st, there's going to be increase in the power sector, 40% increase. And one of the reasons they gave is because of the fluctuating exchange rates.
Everything is tied to these things.
So you see what is happening.
Yes, everything is tied to it. And that's why I say there has to be some sort of measured caution with the implementation of these policies. I support the floating of the exchange rate. I don't think we have an option in terms of the direction to go. The challenge I have is that the benefits that would have come from this will be lost if we don't go the whole way. And we have not gone the whole way. All that we have done, it's exactly what we did with the fuel subsidies, supposed fuel subsidy removal. But government is still setting the pump price. You can't have both. You are either saying, subsidies are gone, the way the president put it, and the market is fully liberalized so that people can import at will and set their prices at will. If you do that, then market conditions eventually and invariably, because this is the way economics work, that competition will drive prices down eventually. But if you have some measured control in place, prices will never go anywhere because prices can't move freely. There's a band. That's what has happened, even though the NNPC has denied it. But, what we see at the pumps tell us that there's regulation, right? There's a fixed price for certain categories of filling stations. And it's the same with the Forex market. You can't say that you have floated the exchange rate, but the CBN is still intervening to curtail and temper the movement of the exchange rate. They still have a band. There's still a window that they don't want the naira to move beyond. And on top of that, a lot of the exchange controls that dissuade providers of supply, that will dissuade the people that have the liquidity to bring their monies into the country, those controls are still there. So those monies will not come. If those monies don't come, demand will always be more than supply, and the only way for the exchange rate will be up. We're going to keep trending upwards. The parallel market is going to continue to thrive, because as long as you have those controls in place, people will shy away from the official markets and from the financial system and take their transactions out, and that will drive parallel market rates up. The CBN has got to decide. The government of President Tinubu has got to decide which one they want to be. Do you want to be a liberal, free market economy, or do you want to be a measured, social, partially social, capitalist, some sort of, hybrid, which is what we had under the Buhari administration? So the messaging is confusing, and you can see that in what's happening with the international community as well. The foreign investment that we're expecting will not come because these controls are still in place. So if we're pursuing an economic policy environment that will attract foreign capital, but we're not going the whole way to get the foreign capital in, and yet we're killing our citizens, it's a loss both ways. The development that we expect to happen as a result of this liberalization will not happen because money will not follow it in, and then people's lives are harder as a result. So there has to be more clarity. It's all very confusing at the moment, and I just wish that the president would appoint a cabinet that can give us direction, because right now it's just swirling. It's a potpourri of confusing policy. We can see a direction, but the implementation, we can do better.
I usually complain about the back end of all of this, the policies, and this KYC that CBN is pushing now. You expect to make all of these policies simpler, carry the public along, but you're further bringing policies that will cause debate and apprehension. Good morning to you. Good morning to you.
This is Clement Odinaka. I'm calling you from Ejibo.
Okay, Mr. Clement, go ahead.
What you should understand is that this is a part of Islamic agenda. So the other day they said that they passed a bill to regulate Christian worship in Nigeria. It is all these regulations and all this is a part of Islamic agenda. So that by the time you regulate the social media, you will not be able to rise against the injustice and whatever things that they are going to do to the Nigerian peoples. So you're supposed to understand where this problem is coming from. They are trying to regulate every aspect, every business, so that you will not rise against them. I hope you are aware that some people are clamoring for separation in this country. Are you aware?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. I'm following you.
Can you hear me clear?
I can hear you.
These laws, they are not giving you all this gifting social media and all this. They are not doing it to benefit anybody. They are doing it so that people will not rise against them. They have to get the message very straight.
Thank you, Mr. Clement.
Are Muslims not going to be affected by this? I don't understand the Islamic agenda part. What has that got to do with anything?
I said it earlier. When you bring up policies like this and you don't tie the loose ends, you hear a lot of conspiracy theories. People will tell you, is like he just said, others will call and say another thing. So if you don't give proper explanation and you don't carry the people along, they start making up theories and trying to understand what the government is actually doing.
Madam Mary.
Good morning.
Please, this is calling back. I forget to tell you something, and I want to keep it in, please.
Okay, quickly. You have less than a minute. We don't allow people call twice. So your call just entered. So just quickly do
okay, then please, what you are just saying is correct. If they would do it for the people that is borrowing money alone from the bank, it's okay. I didn't have any problem with that. About the forest, I'm talking about the forest.
Yes.
This formula they are using now, I witnessed this formula at Ghana. I witnessed this formula at Ghana, and they fail Ghanaians. They fail the work, they fail the government. They fail on it.
Thank
so
you.
If they use that formula, they must fail on it. Let them be careful. Borrowing money to sustain dollar cannot help us.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. You know, you've spoken before. We don't usually, the other peoples that haven't even gotten in. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning. You're on. You think you'll be my last caller. You have a minute. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, Mary. This is Asemota Bright calling from Italy.
Asemota Bright. I read your messages a lot. Good to hear your voice.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I just want to throw some light on this KY whatever from the central bank.
Yes.
It's quite funny, Mary, that Nigeria, we are still just taking issues lightly. The country is dying. This won't help us. Because you cannot be putting policies when the infrastructures, institutions, they are not in place to check the policies. You imagine you saying now that people should submit their Facebook account before they can get access to their money and everything. And you know that the average the only way the government can easily, stop their actions or control them is just through the bank, because there's no other way that the government can easily, throw some actions upon the people if maybe kind of a voice on the street against policies of the government. And this is what they are trying to do. Because by the time you start putting these things in place, how can the central bank be in the position of saying you should try? This is supposed to be actions that has to be, taken over by institutions like EFCCs, our police and all. It's not, the central bank does not have any form of actions to push up this policy.
Thank you, Asamoto Bright. Thank you so much. The time is almost up. Yeah, I appreciate you. Now, your thought, your final thought.
I think the last caller has a very good point. What I picked from what he's saying that I think needs to be emphasized is a lack of institutional framework to protect all parties. In Nigeria, institutions we know are very weak. So there is a possibility of abuse, and that's perhaps where the conspiracy theories would come from. Who protects the citizens from a despotic leader who decides to use the banking system that now has access to my social media, activity to control society? Who is the protector? Who is the intermediary? Who is the, where does the checks and balances come from? So our institutions are weak, and that's perhaps why people are protesting this. I look at this from a purely banking and economic perspective and say it's a good thing. But I think that the people that are expressing concerns do have a good point. On the other things that we've spoken about, and you can just see a trend all across, whether it's tariff increase, whether it's the custom duty rise, all of these are hinged upon the increase in the exchange rates. Once this exchange rate goes, there is a lot of activity of the government that affects the people that are indexed against the exchange rate, and that will flow across the entire economy and might stifle growth. It's all about balance. I think we still need to see a lot more balance from the government.
Thank you so much. We've been speaking with Segun Shokbito. He's a principal partner, Woodridge and Scott Consulting. So it's a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
Next week, Monday, hopefully there'll be other developments that we'll look into. It is being business around town on the radio. I'll be here again tomorrow for another edition of the program. Then it will be wealth creation. My name is Mary Onaife Debbie Duet. To follow me on Instagram, I'm there at Mary Media, MERRY, then Media. Coming up next right now is Area Mata. Keep it here.